This is how it happens. This is how Rick Grimes died on The Walking Dead, his final episode. Hey, horror fans, once again, it's the Horror Miser Monty G. Yes, I'm about to do my recap of last night's very important episode of The Walking Dead. Yes, Andrew Lincoln's final episode, his farewell episode of playing Rick Grimes. Yes. Oh boy. Now, before I begin, everyone heard the news. I would say, if I say like sometime in April, I could be wrong, when news came down that Andrew Lincoln would be leaving The Walking Dead this year. He would no longer be playing the Rick Grimes character. He would say he will be in the first 6 episodes or first 5 episodes, and that would be it for him. And the speculators would say, what's going to happen to the Rick Grimes character? Well, obviously, we all know in the comics, Rick Grimes is still alive and he's still leading Alexandria. I believe right now the storyline is he's dealing with the people in the Commonwealth. That's what's going on in the comics. If I'm wrong, let me know. Let me know in the comment section below if I'm wrong about that. But he's still alive and well. But as far as the TV show is concerned, obviously we don't know what Scott Campbell and the rest. I wouldn't say Scott Campbell. I say Alexander Kang and the rest of the show writers are going to do with this fascinating character that's been on the show since it first was conceived. And so last night was a very interesting episode, to say the least. It was okay. It wasn't bad. It certainly wasn't great neither. I'll explain myself throughout the recap. But for anyone who did not see last night's episode, please, I will be spoiling it. So if you have not seen it, pause this video, go watch last night's episode, then come back and replay my recap. Because I'm about to spoil it, okay? You've been warned. Let's go. Now, the show starts with this nice scene where we're back at the hospital where we see Rick, I would say, I guess you can call it pilot episode Rick, is looking at right now Rick, and they're looking at each other. And then the pilot episode Rick tells the real episode Rick that he needs to wake up. That's a thing we'll be repeating throughout the entire episode. And when Rick wakes up, he's still stuck on that slab with that rebar stuck in his place, with the walkers from 2 hordes converging in. In a very gut-wrenching scene, he takes off his belt and lifts himself off. I'm pretty sure it was very painful, and gets on his horse and leads the walkers away. Now, Rick finally makes it to this inn, and he gets into the shack where a guy obviously killed himself, and he passes out due to blood loss. Obviously, his body's going in shock, and we get our first dream sequence, and guess it's Shane. Yes, Shane makes a return to this episode. Obviously, you would think he'd be the first person to come up to this particular episode. They have a nice conversation. First of all, Shane once again admits that Judith is his daughter. But that still have not been confirmed whether or not Judith is his actual daughter or not. But, you know, what do we know? Besides, Shane is dead anyway. So Shane tells Rick that it's his anger and his rage is what got him through the first part when Rick became the Rick-tatorship during the second and third seasons. And of course, after they had the nice conversation, eating the food, he also talks about that third guy that they didn't know about because the police only said there were 2 robbers, not 3. If it wasn't for they knew about the third robber, Rick probably would not be in the position where he's in right now. And he tells Rick to wake up. And it was good too because the walkers have invaded the cabin. They're about to make Rick a nice snack. But Rick gets away. Now, I'm also glad that Rick does not dominate the entire episode. We get to see Jadis. She makes an appearance in the show. Jadis is driving down, her brakes break down, and she's talking to the guy on the walkie. Once again, telling that she doesn't have an A. And the guy threatens her if there's going to be consequences if you don't lead up to your bargain. And she starts getting ready to prepare herself for what could be an interesting point as we get through this episode. Also, Maggie has made it to Alexandria, and you know what she's there. She's there to kill Negan. Michonne stops her, and Maggie says, "Is that I can't live this way anymore. I have to do it. I have to kill Negan in order for me to feel something." And after a nice long conversation, Michonne relents and hands her the keys, and she goes into Negan's cell to finally rid her way from the person that killed Glenn and Abraham too. Now, Maggie has a conversation with Negan. At first, Negan is doing his usual, very confident self, but as Maggie tells him to get out to the open so she can kill him and see him in the light, he refuses. And then when she goes and opens the cell and pulls him out, Negan, he's not Negan. He's crying. He's bawling like a baby. What's going on? He wants to die. He actually wants to die so he can go ahead and be with his wife Lucille, because the man is just totally broken. And Maggie tells him to go back into his cell because I'm here to kill Negan and you're not him. But you got to give Jeffrey Dean Morgan credit for playing this scene great, because obviously once playing the once confident, aggressive, and really snarky villain, to see this man broken down and just whip out like a little baby is probably a great way for the character, where the character has come. The man has nothing left. The only thing he wants to do is just to be with his wife. So I give Jeffrey Dean Morgan credit, and Maggie relents. Meanwhile, Rick is once again laying on the horse. He's passing out. You would think by now the guy would be dead, because this guy's losing blood. I mean, he's still got this gash on his whatchamacallit. He tried to suture to stop the bleeding, but he's still bleeding. I don't know if he stopped the bleeding or not. The next dream sequence, he is back on the Herschel farm, where we see Scott Wilson, the late great Scott Wilson, and a nice surreal image that they have, knowing that Scott Wilson is no longer alive. And he tells Rick that he's sorry for what happened to Glenn and Maggie, and he says, "Look, my daughter is strong, and I'm pretty sure my granddaughter is going to be even stronger." But he also tells Rick to wake up. Because Rick says, "I gotta find my family." He says that throughout this delusion that he has. So, once again, Rick is riding the horse, but the horse has finally said he had enough. Get off me, you dumb human. Rick is back at the camp, and all of a sudden, walkers are coming right to him. He starts shooting them, and all of a sudden, the entire walker herd is destroying the camp. Rick has no other place to go but other than the bridge. But before that happens, he passes out once again, and this time we see Sasha. Now, of course, Rick tells Sasha that I'm looking for my family, and Sasha tells him is that you don't need to find your family. Your family is already there. This is not going to end with you. It's just going to continue. As a matter of fact, is that your people will continue your legacy, so you don't have to worry about the ending. But again, what she tells him, you just need to wake up. And this time, Rick is at the end of the bridge, and all the hordes are coming toward the bridge. Rick thinks that the combined weight of the zombies are going to make the bridge collapse, but it doesn't. Uh-oh, he's in trouble now. But wait a minute, before the zombies can cross the bridge, it's the cavalry to the rescue. Yes, we see Michonne, we see Darrow, we see Carol, we see Eugene, we see everyone. We see the King Ezekiel. Everyone is there. And then Michonne tells him, I think she tells him something, that this is not the end. And then she tells him, you got to wake up. And we find out it was just another dream. That was actually pretty good, because we all thought that was a nice way to save Rick. But unfortunately, that turned out to be a dream sequence too. Rick is once again at the end of the bridge. Now, at this time, everyone knows that there's something going on the bridge. So Michonne, Darrow, and Carol are all there. You see, Rick is at the end of the bridge, and the walkers are there, and they're going to cross the bridge. The bridge won't get out. Now, right before a walker is about to bite Rick, Darrow shoots him with his crossbow. We see a cache of dynamite there. Rick looks up, takes one step, and says, I found them. Points the gun. Boom! Whole Brits explodes, killing all the zombies and Rick as well. Oh, rest in peace, Rick. Oh. But wait! He's not dead! I told you that scene with Jadis would come back. It appears as though that Rick has washed ashore where all the other walkers have gone up, and he managed to still be alive. Jadis sees him. It says, wait a minute, and she gets to walkie. I gotta pee. Again with this B stuff. What is this A-B stuff? Are we going to find out? Well, anyway, Jadis saves Rick. She takes him up to the helicopter, probably saying because he saved her, so she's going to save him, and they fly off to some unknown mystery camp. We have no clue where they're going. So, we get this scene, a same scene where Jada and Rick fly off into the sky. We get the same scene, and we got these new characters. Who are these people? Where did they come from? We have no clue who they are. They're immediately surrounded by walkers, and they do a nice job, but they're surrounded by walkers. They decide to form a circle, similar to what the cast did when they first got into the prison. They went into a circle and were able to go on ahead and kill all the walkers, but this one is a little bit more dangerous because they're walker closing around, but all of a sudden, a gunshot rings out, and the walkers are killed, and the girl shouts out, run this way, come this way. They run real fast. They meet this little girl, and she asks what their names. She said they're Magna, Yokuma, Connie, Luke, and Kelly. Now, if those names sound familiar to you, they should, because they're actually from the comics. Yeah, they are now introduced, and from what I understand, they're going to be new characters that come in and join the show, and obviously, if you read the comics, they do participate in the Whisperers War, so the Whisperers are supposed to be coming down the pike. It wouldn't surprise me if we see the Whisperers, I would say probably by the mid-season finale, because I believe, if I remember correctly, there's only 3 episodes left before we get to the mid-season finale. And it wouldn't surprise me if we see an appearance of the Whisperers by then. But what about this little girl? Well, apparently, she's got this nice silver gun. She's got a little small katana, and she picks up a very familiar fedora hat that looks like Rick's. And she puts it on, and they asked her, what's her name? Well, she said, my name is Judith. Judith Grimes. Wow, another time jump. Oh, my God. Now, as far as this episode goes, it was okay. I liked the surreal moment that Andrew Lincoln and Scott Wilson had. It was a nice send-off. Not only for Rick Grimes, but obviously for Herschel Walker. Nice send-off for him. I don't know where the show is going to do now because from what I understand, a lot of people didn't like it. From what I saw from earlier people who watched last night's episode, some people didn't like it. I really didn't have a problem with it. Again, I thought it was an okay. I guess I wasn't surprised as how they're going to send Rick off. And from what I understand, Scott Gimple said that they're going to be Walking Dead movies, and Rick Grimes will appear in those movies. As far as what it's going to be, what it's going to be about, we don't know. I'm assuming that once they do make an announcement that there's going to be the Walking Dead movies that are going to be on AMC, Rick Grimes is going to be on. So that's what Andrew Lincoln's going to be about. So I'm pretty sure that whatever site that he and Jadis are at right now, I guess we'll find out more. It could be Commonwealth. It could be something totally new. We simply don't know. And so that was it. That's the end of Rick Grimes on The Walking Dead. I don't know what's going to happen with the show or how it's going to carry on. It's something similar when Kim Dickens was killed off, Madison Clark's character on Fear the Walking Dead. And some people ask, how the show is going to be now that she's off. So my question is going to be to you, my horror fans. What's going to happen with the show? Who is going to take charge? Will it be Michonne? Will it be Daryl? Will it be Negan? Hey, the way Judith shoots, she can take over the show. Leave your comments down in your comment section below and tell me what you thought about Rick Grimes' final episode of The Walking Dead. Well, that's my recap for today, guys. Hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up because it does help the channel a lot. And once again, if this is your first time here, please hit that subscriber button, ring that notification bell. That way you can come and enjoy the horror experience with me, the Horror Miser Monty G. And as always, all my social media links will be down in the description box below as well. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G. And always remember, horror rules. I'll see you guys later. I'm out.